Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Broiler Chicken Show. This is our weekend offering. Happy Easter holiday to all of you, I suppose. If you are of the Christian religious bent. Suppose if you're not, this is just another weekend. A bunch of government holidays, though, so I hope you're enjoying the time off. I don't know whether there's a heck of a lot to report here. What I have noticed is, and I sort of put this out in the tweet here today. And actually, I even did a tweet yesterday. I was quite surprised by this. But if you actually look at like the intraday, well, what is this? This is actually a daily chart. You look at the daily chart, considering how insane our price action has been over the past few months, quite remarkable to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically 6, 7 days of volatility coming right out of the market. And of course, this makes perfect sense given our proximity to big fundamental event dates here in this particular space. But also, too, I'm a big, I don't know whether fan is the right word, but I definitely believe that we as humans are nothing more than a biological proxy on the universe. In fact, actually, I remember one person years and years and years ago. Long story short, but I'll just make I'll cut to the punchline, as they say, or cut to the chase. They said, we as humans are nothing more than the universe becoming self-aware. And, as long as those jerks in like Eastern Europe and stuff just are obsessed about material wealth and, dominating their other species and stuff. And I suppose, God, I don't know whether people have seen the videos coming out of China these days, but quite literally, people have lost all sort of will to live. And they're going on mass murdering rampages, driving cars at like 60, 70 miles an hour right through crowds, and intentionally trying to kill children, which is so sad. But that's all about this species just hasn't gotten to the point of actually understanding that our role in the universe is way bigger than, I've got a bigger pile of wealth than you do, so I must be so much better of a living entity than you are. I don't know when our species can get to that, but this message from the future that I saw a bazillion years ago, how ironic. Anyway, it said that in the future they believe that the human species is nothing more than just the universe itself actually becoming self-aware. Anyway, that's kind of a cool concept. That's the way that I like to look at the universe. So, would it make sense that this funny little biological entity on this relatively small little rock circling this one particular out of control nuclear fusion event, the sun, stars, would it make sense that it would be affected by either the proximity of other orbs passing by us, or multiple orbs all lining up, and they're either gravitational or even stuff that we can't even measure yet because we're just too stupid to understand. Those effects have an effect on us and the way that we act and the way that we behave. And what is the marketplace and what is price other than just nothing more than just a reflection of whatever we collectively as humans think something has value? And I find it interesting, and I don't know what it is about this country, Canada, right now, but it is just going right off the deep end. I actually saw an article recently that said they're passing around guides, in various different countries and stuff. Hey, you want to set government policy? You want to be good stewards for society? Blah blah blah. Do the exact opposite of what this fucking idiot country China is doing right now. And it's quite tragic. I mean, I even saw another article today that the people of Canada are looking at our leader, and it's just this one guy. This is what's absolutely baffling about all this. It's all been orchestrated by one stupid idiot human. It's baffling, and he's got his. Don't get me started. But anyway, as a great testament to how stupid this is, and how idiotic this country's acting. A certain region of Canada has now declared a state of emergency heading into a solar eclipse. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Who the hell writes this stuff? Who are these people that are like actually dictating our society? It's absolutely baffling. So, as an excellent testament to how stupid these humans act around these events, and they don't even realize how dumb they act. Could we see the asset prices in the marketplace either change their previous market state or even maybe establish a new market state through this event? For whatever it's worth, this whole recent rally. And the irony of it all is that, about, I don't know, a year or so ago, you didn't hear anybody getting excited about Bitcoin and crypto. And now it's like, oh my God, the circle jerkers are out in full force. I mean, where was that guy? I won't name names, but you all know who I'm pretty upset with, because he actually did take the TRI education program years ago, barking about how wonderful and how important it is that you buy Bitcoin at 70 grand. I mean, where was he back here when we were sitting at like $10,000, $15,000? I don't see him barking about buying Bitcoins then. So, a great analogy of the top of the market. All these people coming out and say, buy Bitcoin, you'll do great. If anything, that in itself is a warning. There's an old expression, and most of my students know all my expressions. There's an old expression in trading: you want to be buying when they're crying and selling when they're yelling. I suppose the good part about it, with this past sort of month's price action, we really haven't done a hell of a lot here. So a lot of the yelling has sort of kind of dissipated, which I suppose is a good sign. But I definitely don't see any crying right now. I will say, though, for the record, I've broken my cherry in 10 years. And it only happened because, of course, wow, hello, somebody else is in here. Who is this? I don't even think, I guess it must be Chris. Oh, I should kill that. Yeah, let's get out of there. And I think I'm also in Discord's acting really weird. Okay, so we're out of there as well. So hopefully we won't have any more of those. All right, sorry, I just heard some audio in the background. No, what was I saying? Buy them when they're crying, sell them when they're yelling. Oh yeah, I broke my cherry. In 10 years, I have been successful in avoiding all you little fucking criminals in this space. But I broke my cherry. Some little fucking cocksucking son of a bitch in crypto land, and you wonder why all these regulators want to regulate the fuck out of this space. Doesn't surprise me one bit. And the worst part about it is, if somebody, I've got 35 years market experience. I've done almost every single job in this business. I've done back office. I've done operations. I was a credit control clerk. I used to be one of the guys who used to sell you out if you didn't get meet your margin calls. Um, I mean, I've been a broker. I've been a stockbroker. I've been a financial planner. I've been an options broker. I've been a commodities broker. I've been a prop trader. I mean, I've basically done everything in this business. And if a regulator, and I'm so salty and I'm so bitter that most of the regulators don't even want to talk to a guy like me because I'm just too, what would they call me? A loose cannon. Probably be. You never know what the hell this guy's gonna say in public, so you better be careful. But I'll tell you, call a spade a spade. The public is asking for trouble getting involved in this crypto space. And like I said, and what really is tragic about the way that this computerized society is going, you can't even trust anything that comes into your emails or anything along those lines. I was involved in this one site years ago that was starting in on the NFTs. And of course, they were saying, all right, we're going to do an airdrop and all that. And I was just curious. And I clicked on the wrong damn click. And I even thought that I revoked permissions and stuff. And yet these cocksuckers were able to steal a few $1,000 from me. So I've officially had my cherry broken. I probably most of you have had money stolen from you in this space. And I gotta say, as a guy who's done almost every single job in this space, and I'm like one of the only people in this space that ever mentions fiduciary responsibility. What really sickens me, and of course, this is the kind of stuff that people go, well, I'm not going to watch this guy. He's going to tell me what it really is like. I don't want to know what reality is. I just want to listen to these doofuses. Mr. Gucci sweater. And who knows if this is even a real Gucci sweater? I mean, how do you know that isn't like a knockoff, But, and then, of course, you look at the audience of this guy's, the people are, and they all basically are just drones, clones of this guy. And they all want to be this guy. And I'm sure he leaves driving a Maserati or Lamborghini or whatever. And I love the whiteboard here. This is hilarious. This is his master class. I'm going to teach you how to write Bitcoin. And then circle it. So... but I'll tell you, and Liz and Jimmy out there, like those kind of people, they actually took a chance with a guy like me. And the sad part about it is, Liz and Jimmy might have gotten euchred into listening to this clown. And I mean, the ridiculous amount of money that they basically, Well, anyway, the point is I believe that I have a fiduciary responsibility. I have to look out for Jim and Lizzie's. Jimmy and Liz, sorry. And it's not going to drive sales, but at least I can sleep at night knowing that I'm not setting people up for failure. And if anything, I hate to say it, you're coming into the market, and I've said this repeatedly here, and the problem is that people have often actually pointed this out, that Brian's usually right. So, write that down somewhere. This Brian guy, he's usually right. But at the same time, he's usually early. So as we're climbing the wall of worry here, of course, I'm saying, don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. Because I know that at some point we will do things like 50% retracements. It's WD GAN 101. And I also know too how dangerous this space is. I mean, I could go through at least 10 different disasters in crypto here that have happened. Just off the top of my head. I mean, Mt. Gox, Mintpal, I think was the one. Our buddy Stewart, of course, will remember that place. Quadriga. Oh my God. Talk about embarrassing your country. I mean, and I suppose the mindless bureaucrat politicians that don't really understand any of this, the only thing they want to do is make damn sure that they get reelected and they can collect their pension after 2 terms in office. And it's funny watching the Canadian politicians now because this stupid idiot leader in our country, he actually screwed up. He called a snap election. And because and the whole country was pissed off at him for doing it because he didn't achieve anything out of calling the snap election other than spending like $50 million on election nonsense spending, blah blah blah. Anyway, um, so these politicians right now, because he called the snap election, they're actually going to go in and try and change the law so that they are guaranteed that they will get a pension. Because the way it is right now, if he calls the election when he's supposed to call the election according to the Constitution and according to the law, and they lose, none of them get any pensions. And considering the way that this political party has completely fucked up our country for probably the next 20, 30 years, it is going to take forever for my country to recover from the damage that this guy has done. It would be poetic justice for none of them to get any pensions because they have completely fucked this country for like literally a generation. And oh, by the way, I think it's tomorrow, a huge new tax comes in that's going to discourage people from, in fact, what it probably will do is it will actually cause the recession that should actually start facilitating the collapse in the housing market, which probably should kick in somewhere around 2026, 2027, 2028. Which means Lily and I have to wait another 3 years for this damn market to break so we can go and finally buy our home. But anyway, it is what it is. Patience, discipline. If anything, that being a trader, it's taught me those 2 words when dealing with the government. Patience and discipline. And I suppose the one good part about that, and I'm just sort of ranting here today because as I showed you, as you can see on the screen, I mean, there's no way in hell I'm going to come in and say, oh, yeah, go and buy that. You'll get rich if you buy Bitcoin here. Anyway. So, the one good part about this is that Liam is so disabled that literally all of his costs of living are covered, including all of his therapists and stuff like that. And then some people are even joking, the actual cost of the medical treatment down in the States and the facilities that he is entitled to, the good taxpayers of Canada are paying for. It probably would have bankrupted me down in the States had I tried to pay for it myself. But anyway, that's here nor there. So, point here is conversation hasn't changed a hell of a lot over the past month. You can see we were going absolute face rippy. I guess this was back in like, January, February, March kind of idea. And literally over the past month or so, we've just sort of stalled out and we're kind of parked in a range right now. The problem that I have here is that I don't necessarily like, I mean, first and foremost, I think we are heading into a secular bull here. And this is an absolutely fantastic study. And I even did it with the Coinigy guys when I did the Coinigy show there the other day. And it was super cool if I actually color code these because it's a lot easier to understand if I color code them. So let's see if I can do that. I think we made 38.2 yellow. And I think we made 1.618 and to 1.786 in green. So then at least you can sort of distinguish. Is that the same color? Looks like it. And then we just like color these like blue or something just so you can see them. So these should be, the blue should be the halvening events. So boom, boom, I guess. Is that blue? It doesn't really look very blue. Oh, crap. Okay, let's get rid of this. And this, and that. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. And then we'll clone that and we'll drag that over there. Mind you, the happening event was slightly different, wasn't it? I think it was. Oh, this is a monthly chart. Well, let's go down to that weekly. I've kind of messed all this up, haven't I? What a knucklehead. Oh well, we won't. You know what I'll do? Why don't I do this? It's even better. Oh God, now what have I done? Hey, there we go. Colors are coming back. Okay. All right. Let's go back over to YouTube, or where's that? Twitter. And there it is. So this is the chart I did up on the Commodities show there the other day. That's a fun conversation. I do like having that conversation with Joe. I think Joe has a very good heart. He's a very good human, and I'm proud to know him. I think I can call him my friend. I don't know. A lot of these people in internet land, you call them your friends, and then years later, it's like they just disappear, and it's just like, I thought we were friends. Anyway, happening event. Obviously, you can see we're coming up to one. 38.2 seemed to be a fantastic tell for cycle peaks following the happening event. Maybe because I talk about that so much, it won't happen this time. I don't know. I think probably more importantly, 1.618 to 1.786s of this entire cycle appear to be sort of like the reload window, if you will. And I would make note of that, because what this means right here, right now, is we've actually missed the loading up window for this particular cycle. So I don't think you're going to get value trades here unless we get some sort of fabricated calamity that maybe could happen in our society, like, I don't know, a mysterious sickness that happens to just pop up out of nowhere. Or, and actually, the conversations nowadays is that there's theoretically that spacecraft that had entered our solar system from outside of it and now is turned towards Earth, and it's actually heading headlong towards Earth. I don't know whether you guys saw those articles, but oh man, social media is really trying to jack that fear angle up. Or maybe, I don't know. Actually, you know what would be kind of fun would be to have a nice big fat nuclear exchange. And let's just be done with Russia once and for all and just nuke them into the ground. Like nuke them back into the Stone Age. Wouldn't that be awesome? Anyway, could potentially be. Tell you, there's a lot of things on the docket that could sort of create our next crisis du jour, and of course give the powers that be an excuse to go and do another massive bailout. I mean, the commercial real estate market, all of these banks are all like literally carrying just mountains of debt, especially the regional banks in the States. And I'm sure I don't know how it is, in Europe and other parts of the world. I don't know whether they've had the commercial real estate market collapse the way, but from what I understand, the American commercial real estate market is in really big trouble. So, these banks, of course, Rothschilds, the whole thing, right? They completely manipulate all of this, but they're also really, really good at their jobs. So, like 2019, we have to figure out a way to justify massively hyperinflating the money supply, or quote unquote monetizing the debt, all that bullshit, so that the banks can get away from the disaster that they caused by lending out so much money, which they never should have. But of course, remember, banks don't make any money if they don't lend any money. So obviously they're driven by profits, and the more loans that you give, regardless of whether people can pay them back or not, the more profits you can show. And what's worse, of course, is that once they've made the loan, then they can like literally monetize the default, and they'll just sell the paper at like 50 cents on the dollar to like deadbeat credit collectors. So the banks don't do badly if you default on your debt. The issue this past go round, of course, was that most of this debt was residential, and it was levered to the fact that the U.S. government back in the 60s and 70s, to encourage things like home ownership, said that we will go in and guarantee the principal of these debts, and Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all that. And Wall Street and the banksters and the Rothschilds and all these fucking crooks all basically said this is a guaranteed profit win now for us. And then of course they had their highly malleable political puppet George Bush Jr., who basically said, "Look, I've always been in the unpopular camp. So now you're telling me I can be in the popular camp if I just do what you tell me to do?" And I mean, God, he goes on national television and tells every American, "Oh, you better watch out. We're going to have a mushroom cloud right in our faces if we don't do something about this guy in Iraq," which, of course, was a total and blatant lie. And there you go. So, I mean, and what's so funny is history is not going to hold him to account for that. It's so sad. Colin Powell, right, going to the in front of the UN and blatantly lying to all of them to justify massive military spending down in the States. So, anyway, how corrupt is this world? Silly humans. Anyway, I would just make the argument, not quite sure how I got down that rabbit hole, but, Brian, he loves the sound of his own voice and loves the sound of his own rants. It just looks to me like we're overdue for some sort of correction here. I mean, even this kind of move here, right? This wasn't even the end of it. There was another move higher here that took out those old highs. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, are we getting a little bit overdone? And then, of course, remember good old Trump's run up here. That was at the very end of the cycle. If anything, you should all be pleased that this peak here right now is not coming on one of these yellow lines. If it was, then, and that's out here in November 2025 or thereabouts, November, December probably. I think actually October, believe it or not, was the actual date, but somewhere in that window. If that was the case, then I'd be like, you know what? I'm done. I've had enough. And I've told even the boys, I love you guys dearly. I had this idea that being the voice of reason and, fiduciary responsibility, and trying to teach you all how the game is actually played on Wall Street ethically, and not, getting sucked into the mass marketing, they used to call it like Madison Avenue kind of shill process, but it's not working. I mean, I'm pretty depressed by it, where, these guys, they do really, really well in this world. $5,000 just to listen to a guy say, just FOMO buy Bitcoin, you'll do great. Nothing about risk management, nothing about, building a plan, nothing about managing your psychology and managing the stress of actually taking the chance of losing money. No, just walk up to a whiteboard, write Bitcoin and put a circle around it. Boom, there's your master class. And I'm sure this guy has 5 million bazillion gazillion hits and followers and likes and all that crap. So I'm, just full disclosure for all of you, I've kind of told the boys that when we come into this next cycle, I think I'm done. And now, of course, my experience with what just happened in DeFi, as I said, I just had my cherry broken. I have now officially been robbed. It wasn't for a lot of money, but still, I make it a habit here, whether out of you people know this or not, I do not lose money in the marketplace. I take small bets, and I make sure that the statistical model that I use over the long run will work, I will have bets that lose, but I have way more bets that win versus my losses, and my wins are substantially greater than my losses. So as a result, I do not lose money. And that's something I'm very proud of. Is, and keep in mind, I come from this from a financial planner's perspective, right? Just do the right thing. Don't lose money. So when I wake up and I see, oh, hey, look at that, $3,000 just poof, disappeared because some dickhead just stole it from me because of some vulnerability that I left myself open to in this space, I start going, why would I even bother doing this? This is such a headache. I don't need to do this shit. So, the one good part about TRI is that Sjord, I think, is our resident crypto expert. I think he's done an absolute incredible job, and he knows how to work computers, and he knows these pitfalls. And when I talked to him yesterday, he's like, oh yeah, go to this page. Oh yeah, type in this. Oh yeah, see, this is what you did wrong. That's what you did wrong. And yep, there it is. There's the guy who stole your money from you. There he is right there. And I'm like, fuck me. So you can tell, obviously I'm a little bit bitter right now, but I think I'm probably done with this crypto space come the end of this cycle. The good part about it is that the principles that I'm teaching you, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in crypto. And actually, we have one gentleman who on the site who's constantly saying, Brian, just open an account at Coinbase and do like you did at Trex and just let them handle all the accounting. And, if you have a capital gain, fine, pay your taxes. Who gives a fuck? If you're half decent actually making money from trading, I went through this account and I thought this was interesting because this is even including the little hack theft that we just went through. Trying to do this on the ledger is just a fucking nightmare. But just the assets that this ledger live or whatever can't track. That's everything that's in yellow here. But we started out a couple years ago now on this road at about 10 G's, and it's sitting right now at 33,000, even with that little $3,000 theft that I just had to go through. So I can't complain. We're making money from trading. I will say though, you can see how many trades I've actually missed because this DeFi space is just so difficult to work in. But you can see, we got off a number of profit trades. In fact, there were some trades here, like this is a beautiful example where you don't have to sell half on a double. Why not sell half on a quadruple? It happens in this space. So, what the hell? The good part, and if anything, the students that I work with, this is what I need you to learn, is that the process works. If you have to deal with these criminals in this space and you want to do the DeFi thing, you better be really up to speed with all of that, which I'm not, and I will never sell myself as some sort of DeFi expert or even crypto expert. If anything, what I'm in this for? I'm in this for the sport of this. I love the sport of it. I love going in and buying something and then just being patient and disciplined and just waiting for it to double, triple, quadruple, whatever. And just selling half, if that's the number you want to work with. Pay your taxes. The irony of it all is that if you lose money in this game, there is no taxes to be paid. So if you actually have a tax bill and you have a tax liability, that's got to be a good thing. It means that you're making money at this game. Keep in mind, most people lose money when they play the market over the long run. So, well, what can you do? So, I think we're due for a bit of a pullback. Just look at this chart. Big face rip up, I have to have a pullback. Even here, big face rip up, and I think that this, kind of action actually looks a lot like what we're probably going to have to go through. Big face rip up, and then a long consolidation to sort of clean up the excess. Big face rip up, long consolidation, then a big thumping down following the cycle peak to clean things up. Do we go straight line up to these trend lines? I don't know. It's awfully tough because there's an old rule in the market that says you want to buy the rumor and then sell the news. And if we look at what I think, you can see you are here now. I think that we're in this particular type of market state right there. I might even argue too that this actually looks a lot like what we're going through right now, other than the fact that this is not at a new high because we had this insane green candle. But the interesting thing about this is that this candle was actually caused specifically by an algo that was sort of out of control. And they called it the Willy bot. And it's interesting how when you talk to people in the space, like I said, I was down in, I find this hilarious. Chris, are you around? Can you hear me? I don't know whether, I guess I guess I was in the DB room. This country of El Salvador is planning on switching to Bitcoin as their currency, and yet I would say that either Chris's internet or his electricity has been down more than it's actually been up since I've come back from El Salvador, working with Chris as our show director producer. I could be mistaken there, but it sure feels like he's MIA more than he's actually here. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. How on earth is a society supposed to use Bitcoin, which is entirely electronic, entirely digital? How on earth is and he's living in like one of the better neighborhoods, right? They actually have created this like enclave there in El Salvador where like literally there are police walking up and down the streets like on an hourly basis, and there are policemen everywhere and police women and police house plants everywhere, to make damn sure that the what do they call that? Something 12, right? Well, I should remember what that name is, but the gangbangers down in there in El Salvador. And I remember I was sitting there having dinner one night at a Bitcoin meetup, and like literally the people that were cooking the dinner, they couldn't fucking rub two nickels together. They were so poor. These people are actually supposed to use Bitcoin as their currency? Hell, they barely had fuel to fire the what the hell was the name of those pancake things that they cook down there? Anyway, I'm like full on rant today. Anyway, back to our story. So the Willy bot here was kind of a funny thing in that it kind of took the whole marketplace off guard. And of course, remember I talked about scandals in Bitcoin land. This was basically what killed Roly Poly Oly over there at Mount Gox. And ironically enough, he went and spent time in jail. And by the time he got out, I don't know whether he's still in jail or not. Actually, that's a good question. Is Carpella still in jail? I thought, it's interesting how what's his face from the dark web Bitcoin days. Oh my goodness, I'm starting to forget the names of the places now. But anyway, Albrecht or whatever. He's but there you are, Pupus. Oh, there you go. Oh, Chris is over on YouTube. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Chris is even saying that he could hear me on MS-13. That's what the thing was. No. Silk Road. Yep. Okay. So thank you, Adam. I say my OGs are helping me out here. So yeah, so Silk Road was the whole sort of Albrecht thing, and of course he got like 2 life sentences. But if I understand correctly, that a lot of people are sort of saying SBF stole billions of dollars. from people, and he's only getting 25 years, but Ulrich is sitting in jail for 2 life sentences. But if I understand correctly, I don't think SBF ever ordered a contract out on anybody's life, which is pretty heavy duty shit. The authorities do not like that kind of mafioso kind of behavior out of especially white collar people. They will not tolerate that. Anyway, that's, I suppose, another conversation altogether. But following the Silk Road, there was this thing called the Willy Bot. You don't think so? I don't know. Anyway, D-Max over there will debate me. I think that's why they throw the book at him, though. Yeah. The problem is, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but that's not what came out in court. You know, if anything, that's the one thing I like about this Western court system is at least you do have your day in court. So, but anyway, I suppose we don't need to open up that can of worms. All I'm going to simply say here is I wonder whether Bitcoin would have gone to new highs in this cycle had it not been for the Willy Bot. So maybe this time actually isn't a heck of a lot different, although we just didn't have a runaway algo that just took price to absolutely staggering levels. And I remember when this happened, there were guys, especially this is right around when I first sort of got interested in Bitcoin. And for the record, TRI originally bought its first Bitcoins here at $450, right in here. I waited for the bottom to come in, and then it was like, all right, well, let's go take our foray. And we started up that Trucks account with one student's tuition. And it was like 1.25 Bitcoins, and we ran it up to a few hundred G's. So, yeah, it was a prosperous endeavor, I think. And interestingly enough, I still have 2.5 Bitcoins. I really haven't touched them over the years. They are Liam's Bitcoins. And they were basically given to me through this event window. Same sort of thing, you know, from site members and stuff. And I've made a promise that I will never touch those until I can actually buy a house for Liam so he doesn't have to live in a government agency housing the rest of his life, and I'll put it into a trust so the government can't fuck with it. So, and if anything, maybe that's poetic justice for a guy like me. I don't necessarily need to have personal wealth. I mean, I think I'm doing perfectly fine. But at the same time, too, fucking houses are ridiculously expensive here in this communist country. So, you know, maybe all of this effort that I put in this space over the past decade will be able to afford to buy a house for Liam, and it's Liam's. Kind of like the car that I drive right now. I consider it Liam's car. It's not really my car because I don't really drive that much. I only drive when I take him out. Anyway. All right. So the point here is, I wonder whether this cycle actually is a heck of a lot like this cycle, except we didn't have this insane Willy Bot the last go round, last sort of orgy peak. And actually, it'd be interesting too. I wonder if you could do like from inception day, you know, like if we could do another one of these time-based cycles. And I wonder if that, like if we just went back, whether, yeah, see, I wonder whether 38.2, whether the market was actually supposed to peak right in here or something along those lines. When was sort of the official start date for Bitcoin? I think it was, I seem to remember it was like 2008. Well, I appreciate that crypto history channel, but I don't know whether you're aware, but Southern Italy is basically like, I mean, it is like literally the wild, wild west. And it's like completely dominated by a mafioso. So I appreciate that. Yeah, you can get some pretty cheap housing, but you know, remember my son is severely disabled, so I have to be able to have all of sort of the medical, all the medical supports in place for him. And according to the Canadian Communist Constitution, he is legally entitled to all of these supports. So, I mean, if the communists can come and fuck me up the ass with taxes, well, then the communists can fucking bloody well pay for all of Liam's medical bills. I mean, the irony of it all is that I pay absolutely insane taxes here in this country, but I don't really have a problem with that, believe it or not, because like literally everything in Liam's life is funded by government. So all of his assistance, all of his medical bills, all of his medications, he has to have one-on-one support, all of his housing costs, everything. So the point being that if I didn't have Liam and I didn't have sort of a moral responsibility to be there for my son, which I think every human should, then there's no reason at all that I would be in China right now. None whatsoever. I would have been fucking long gone from this place. There's no reason to be here whatsoever. But, I've got my son, and I'm not going to abandon him. Heaven forbid I actually have like some sort of success at all of this, then maybe like I said, I have a funny feeling like God's way of sort of compensating me for all of this hard work is I did go and buy I didn't even buy them. They were gifted to me, those Bitcoins, back at the bottom of the cycle there, which of course means that my cost basis is zero. So I'm going to have to pay 100% capital gains on that, but I don't mind that. But the point is, take Bitcoin to a couple hundred G's. Fine by me. Then Liam can go get his house. All right. C'est bien. Or, Bitcoin's going to get to that price and then mysteriously all of a sudden they're going to be stolen away from me. That would be poetic justice, wouldn't it? Yeah, well, now I'm just blabbing now. And I can understand why people are like, why listen to this guy? He just fucking rants on mindlessly, endlessly. I don't know. Let's see. What can I talk about with you guys today that maybe you might find some value in? This is that lower time frame look. If this is like that 15-16 cycle, then price actually topped out about 23 bars. I guess 23 full days in that 15-16 cycle before the halvening. And what's interesting is the halvening actually happens and really not much actually changes. Just sort of bumps along. And then lo and behold, look, I mean, and really all of you should take note of this. What date do you see down here? And when is that? And I tell you, it's this one guy that I work with. I swear he's made a deal with the devil or something. But basically, it's his birthday. And literally, you better get the fuck out of the market around this date. And Chris is like, I don't think so. It's you, Brian. You made the deal with the devil. And so as a result, it's your fault. All right. Well, Dimex is bailing on us. All right, Cotter's got all you guys saying it. And actually, what would be a good idea is, what would be kind of fun? Let's see if we can do this. Although TradingView is really kind of screwy, but let's see if we can do this. And actually, we don't want to do well, see, the thing is, I'd want to do it here, but let's go make a copy. I guess I'll call it copy. What I wanted to do was see Brave New Coin, right? BLX. I think that's what it's called. Bitcoin Liquid Index. Is that what it is? I can't remember. Bitcoin Liquid Index. This must be it. Anyway, this had data going back to like 2000. Yeah, there you go. Well, that goes back to 2010. Hmm. I remember there was one. It was called Brave New Coin or something like that. Hmm. I seem to remember there was one that you could actually get like the data going back to like 2008. That doesn't look like it's here. Brave Sound Litecoin. I don't know what any of this is. Anyway, I was kind of hoping that maybe this would go back. This goes back to July 2010. Would be interesting to see if there was. And I always do this with you guys. But anyway, July 2016, somewhere in there. And May 2020. And of course, April 2024. And then we'll do our time fib study. Somewhere in there. $2012. Anybody remember what's the halvening date in 2012? Somewhere around there. I think I probably have that on here. There, what's that? That is November 2012. This, yeah. September, October, November. Yeah. So there's your peek into there. So now the question is, can we do this same study off of sort of the very first date that this thing traded? You guys say that it came out when? Be interesting to see whether the date that it came out actually aligns with that peak there. Let's see what this looks like. November 2012. So I wonder what this date, and you guys say that November 28th, eh? Okay, let's move that over. There, I guess that's as close as we can get. So that's interesting. 38.2 aligns with that peak there. And that was that whole sort of Gox thing. I think that's right. Yeah, so this is us here right now. And then the next happening was July. So I think I'll move this one back. July, somewhere in there. Got a couple lines here. Something like that. Was it, I think it was the 16th or something. Anyway, I'm just messing around here. Can't get all these to line up. Anyway, what I was kind of wondering was whether we could do one prior to this, from sort of the start date, just to see if like this level right in here, if anything, it almost looks like if we took this study and then just, okay, replicated it. Since this gave us that 38.2 peak there, so could we take this, clone that, and then drag that over And then 38.2, line that up with off that low. And then line this bottom. We're going to do this. Not there, yeah, there. Oops. I think I screwed that up. Okay, now I've lost my head. Okay, so November 2012, that was a happening event. That was 38.2 there. So that means we should be able to take this line right there. Oh, darn, I can't think. How are we going to do this? Yeah, so is that peak there, 38.2? That would line up with a buying window there. That's pretty close. So this number here, we got to move that. There it is, way up there. Oh, darn, can't even see this now. All right, let's put that there. Okay, then let's go. There, and then let's see if we can figure this out. So there was the peak. There's 38.2. So let's go like that. Now, interesting how this was our start. So we got to go there. We have to drag this back now. So that's got to stay there. This line has to go over here. But this has to go there. There, that's what I want. Something like that. And then, so that would align 38.2 of that cycle would be your peak. And then 61.8 to 78.6 would be your accumulation zone. That would be all through here. That's pretty close. So the question is, and unfortunately we don't have the dates on here, stupid jerks. How on earth would we do this? Anyway, I'm just sort of having fun with you guys today. Probably lots of downvotes, and why am I wasting time watching this guy? Well, I'll give that some thought. See if we can figure something out there. Anyway, so here we are coming into our next happening event. Actually, this looks a little bit far away. April 22nd. Is that when we're supposed to do it? I think it's maybe like a week earlier. Oh, I see. I think it's like the 19th or something, right? So, good part about it is we're not doing this. I do like interesting how we have a 1.0 here. And notice how we had to go sideways here. That was actually my birthday, the last pause. So I don't know whether it just looks like this going sideways. But I definitely think you're going to have like sort of a cooling down period. And as I've said repeatedly to you guys, I think that we're actually looking like this. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Not really much else to really say about Bitcoin here. For the lower time frame traders, I hate to say it, but this is actually absolutely perfect trade location. So if you are one of those guys that fancies yourself a top picker and you are trading markets, then really all you want to do is, especially if you can get off at like Brian's favorite fib. Oh my goodness, I love that level. Just gonna risk to new highs. And then look to sell part of the position at 2 to 1, which is nothing more than just a retest of these lows down in here. Risk to new highs, and then maybe sell half of it or something like that. Put your stop to scratch, And then maybe we just bump along for a month or so, and then you finally get your capitulation blowout here into Brian's birthday. And it's just business as usual, just totally typical. So, for whatever it's worth, I mean, especially like Fink and all those Wall Street guys and stuff like that, that's probably the market we should be looking at. Is not so much. Let's go. Where are we here? Let's go. Trading view charts, day trading charts. When I trade the futures markets Monday to Friday, these are the charts that I use. So we can always look at the futures market from this perspective. Maybe this one might be a good one. And we'll go on over here. And we'll just give you like a, what would a future, and I got to tell you from a macroeconomic perspective, seeing this big W coming in here, that's not a good sign. That's a bad sign coming in on crude oil. Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun. Look at the W's coming in on the indicators. Like price momentum just wants to rock and roll here. And if I understand correctly, I think the world fundamentals make a lot of sense here. But we're talking Bitcoin here. If anything, this also might be one of the reasons why Bitcoin has to take a bit of a pause here. Might be in a rip-roaring rally and it's next best thing since sliced bread. But if crude oil prices are going crazy, that's going to totally kick the shit out of things like tech. And actually, interesting enough, we've seen NASDAQ actually dramatically underperforming the Dow right now. And I think that's half the reason. But anyway, if we take a look at just the spot Bitcoin futures, and we ask ourselves, what would a trader on Wall Street be thinking? I suppose one good thing about this is, mind you, it could be good, could be bad. If you're a harmonics fan, I think we go A to B to C to D to So, question is this 61.8, 56.5? So it's not a textbook Gartley. I'd probably consider that like a bat or something. But yeah, 54.3, pretty deep pullback, 77.8. Brian loves his 78.6 kind of idea. And then rally back up to 82.3, so 78.6 actually, yeah, was that higher? What's that high? 72.5, 72.495, yeah, so right up in there. So any kind of signs of failure up here, I think the futures guys would love to consider a short up here. And you tell me, now we'll look at like, say, a 4-hour basis. What do the futures guys see on a 4-hour basis? If you do actually get a sell signal, and this is fascinating because hopefully all of you see that this actually looks like a very polite little empire top here. So that does mean that if we get a trade below that level, first thing, now Monday's going to be a funny day. I think it's a holiday. It's like a banker's holiday. But if I was actually thinking about shorting, I mean, there's a number of different ways you could play this. I do like the idea of if that fractal does fire, boom, you got yourself in a cute little risk window. And of course, 2 to 1, sell half on a move to 2 to 1, which would be nothing more than just testing these lows. And, take partial profits. Then that way, at least you pay the bills. Maybe leave half of the position on, a quarter of the position on, move your stop to scratch. And I mean, I don't know. Has anybody ever said anything about these holes on price charts? Do these holes on price charts like to get filled in? I don't know. I think there was a guy on the site a while ago who used to always bark 91.4. Right, so there's a 91.4% chance that gap gets filled in. Interesting too. Look how it's lining nicely with a 200 SMA here on this 4-hour chart. So, and I'd also make the argument too that trend line support is really right there. Boom, boom. I think I actually did this on like the spot market, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this lines up really well. But I guess on the futures, it looks something like that. So there's probably some money. I would not fault a professional futures trader for coming in and hunting shorts through here. Absolutely. I would not fault them one bit. Believe it or not, and like off of that higher time frame, I had kind of said I don't really mind the idea of you hunting shorts up in this area, and then just simply we'll risk to new highs. Show me a new high, and I'll show you a French fry. No, that's not how it goes. So that would be like sort of up in that area, and I want 2-to-1 risk reward. Oh, what a surprise! That's right into Kevin's gap. Right, somebody's DMing me. Brian, you are asking for trouble with all of these terrible comments. 1 hour to go. All right, thanks. Oh, 4 questions. Oh, goodness. All right, well, why don't we head on over there? So, from the futures trading perspective, I don't have a problem with people thinking about shorting that whatsoever. It might take a couple shots. I don't really mind actually taking a shot against the all-time high, or whatever the hell that high is. I would imagine probably like sharpshooter traders, they'll take that risk. That's not a terrible risk. Maybe not off of this big contract, probably off of like the micro Bitcoin contract. So that's this bad. Oh, not that bad boy. What the hell is the symbol? Maybe it's just like MBT or something. MBT. Oh, yeah, I was right. No C in there. All right, so same chart. Interesting. Really good analogy. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. Really, really good analogy. Interesting how on the micros, though, it looks like they did take it to a new high. 72,500. 72,530. Oh, so they didn't. Interesting. So, definitely think you have a hard level to work with right there. That's not bad. And also, too, interesting, that sort of aligns with that top there. There's a nice risk window. And if we think about the bar that made the high plus the preceding bar, that sort of institutional fingerprint kind of idea, who put a top in this market? I think that's that window right there. So I don't really have a problem if some professional futures trader came to me and said, actually I'm thinking about starting to take some short shots on this corn thing. See if I can snipe a nice little entry up top here. Not a bad level at all. What I wanted to mention before we left this conversation, and I suppose, we should also look at things like momentum. Interesting how momentum is not really failing yet here. It does look like Willie's stupid, so clearly we can't be a buyer here. But maybe we get a little bit of div coming in there on RSI, but not really overbought, eh? Well, it's a bit meh as trade setups go. Also, if you are a bear, one thing I don't like about this image is where are the bears? I mean, why aren't they stepping up and selling? I have my hunch is, of course, that I don't think you're going to see a lot of selling ahead of the halving event. That just doesn't make sense. But I definitely could see like us playing this trading range for a while here. And then if you can, like they say, markets range like 70-80% of the time. So if we could somehow just strap on a short from here, and this is nothing more than just a trading range, and all we do is we just oscillate back and forth here. I think you can get off some half decent trades up top here, and just like we said, gaps like to be filled. 200 SMA. Looking at key support, key lows. We got that key low, that key low, that low, that low, this low. So there's a bunch of sort of horizontal support down in this area. But, just trying to snipe that trade, that's not bad thinking at all. That's ironically enough, this would be like sort of mountain man kind of guy, my old buddy Brandon, where he would just come in and just hit his levels and just say, look, just live with the results. I short against highs, I buy against lows, and that's just the way it goes, right? And if I get stopped, I get stopped, so fucking what? What I guess what I wanted to mention, which maybe we'll mention this, then we'll head on over and maybe look at altcoins for a bit. If we actually look at these Bitcoin ETFs, I'm a little bit leery here. You know, a lot of these ETFs still don't have options yet, and I think that half the reason why is because they don't want the public to be able to come in and short them. But you look at some of these Bitcoin ETFs. There's one in particular that I think one of our level, actually, he was a level 4 instructor for our education program. Zach, I think he was actually thinking shopping for bear put spreads on which one was it? I think it was BITO. Yeah, that guy up there. So, and I guess you can see I've been thinking about this already. And really, I might even look at like a weekly price chart just to see. I mean, weekly basis, when really gets stupidly overbought or sold on a weekly basis, be careful. Good thing we don't have a bear div. You notice, look at this bear div that came in on MACD on the weeklies, and market had to just basically calm down from following that. So we don't actually have that, but notice, look at this cute little toppy top that's trying to come in up here. RSI, cute little toppy top. Williams percentage R, cute little toppy top. Volume, same sort of thing. You know, if you get a spike up here and it's lower than these highs, and you know, if we pop up and make new highs here on this thing, but none of these indicators all go to new highs, then that's the makings of divergence. Kind of like the Bitcoin chart as well, ABCD, we have popped up into these 127 to 1.618. And I've told you guys, I mean, if we ever get a 1.618, this is a total no-brainer short. But we're not there yet. So could we see another push up top here before this thing is officially ready to puke out? You can see we have sort of our ICT guy. Interesting how there was a big gap on this thing and they came down and filled that gap in. I get the impression, you know, where did the market make the most recent market structure push to new highs? If you like that ICT guy, I guess that makes sense. You know, that low there pushed to new highs, new market high. So you'd probably have to see this low taken out here before we can actually say that the bull is officially dead. So I'm going to backtrack, and I like that kind of conversation. I don't think that this is quite ready for a short to like call a top and oh boy, the whole market's going to puke out. What I like here is this is a trading range. I could very easily see, and I think Mr. ICT says you have to see the actual candle close below that level to actually, boom, we have officially closed. We are a bear. We have broken that market structure. So I don't think we're there yet. I mean, we're nowhere near there right now. And this is going to take some work. And I've said this, that I don't think that this correction actually is long lasting. I think what ends up happening is we create some sort of, you know, and I probably off the weekly charts better, but I'm just going to just quickly draw this. I think that we're going to get some sort of crazy ass candle that goes like that, where we open up, you know, maybe it's a red candle, who knows. But we open up, we absolutely puke out, we take out Mr. ICT lows, and then all of a sudden the damn market just comes ripping right back, recaptures that level, and the bull just carries on. I tell you, if I had a stack of Bibles to swear on, that's what I think is going to happen here. And that's this kind of thesis going back to 2015, 16 cycle. I don't think we're like that. I think we are here, where it's basically just rip the Band-Aid off right into Brian's birthday. Oh my God, this guy's falling. That Beamish guy was right. And then all of a sudden, oh, here come the bulls. All right, they're bringing her back. And okay, the correction's over. That was fun. I still think that that's what's going to happen here, folks. So anyway, we'll see. Only time will tell. But anyway, so that these ETFs, it's interesting looking at options right now on these things. Because, you know, same thing if we did, and I've got a ton of lines on here, so it's probably hard to see. I mean, you can see this was a beautiful bullish bot setup. Enter, move stop to scratch, move stop to trailing, target hit. Do you sell all of it? Maybe you sell 3/4, move your stop to scratch on the remaining, and maybe just keep spoon feeding, or just get the fuck out completely at the bot level. That's up to you and your plan. But it looks like that was exactly the trade. Right now, you should be sitting on fat profits. Anybody in the crypto space, if you have a half a brain, you should be able to be sitting on half profits. Even with people hacking your account and stealing money from you, you should still be sitting on fat profits. I mean, some of these trades last year were absolute gifts. You know, like that loom I showed you. I mean, this is an absolute. You know, this is if you know, this is speaking to Jim and Lizzie here though. Is you can't come in and buy a market that looks like this. You're just asking for trouble. What do you think happened to this chart following this event? Do you think the price just kept going higher? Or did it just absolutely puke out and just came right back down to the bottom? And where do you think the public usually buys? They buy these up markets. Does Bitcoin kind of look like this right now? I mean, I'm a fiduciary, right? I'm trying to help you people. Whether you want to listen to me or not, that's up to you. Or you can go listen to Mr. Gucci Sweater. Right? Mr. Gucci Sweater goes, that's all you need for your course. It's just that simple. There's your master course. Buy Bitcoin. and of course have some shitcoin on your screen. $5,000, please. Cha-ching, cha-ching. And actually, it's interesting. Since I've been mentioning these idiots, all of a sudden on our Discord channel, there are people popping up and trying to scam our site members, impersonating the various different principles of TRI. There's people like publicly saying, you know, and of course, like I said, my little broke my cherry in Bitcoin theft land. All of a sudden, that started up. Oh God. So I suppose, you know, you get what you pay for. So I bitch at these people and they bitch right back. And welcome to the 21st century. It's just one con artist against another con artist, it seems. And you wonder why the regulators want to regulate this shit into the ground. Anyway, what was that? What did I want to show you? I was getting all excited about something there, and now I got off on this stupid tangent. Okay, I did that. Oh, well, maybe it wasn't that important. I'll finish off. Let's take it. Speaking of shitcoins, what's happening over here in altcoin land? It's interesting. It's kind of the same setup. I mean, we do have location. I've even said trade location check. And if you look off of the higher time frames, I think we even have, mind you, I don't know. Let's go take a look. Do we have divergence? A little bit of one. Kind of sloppy. Ooh, RSI, wicked div there, eh? Willie was stupid, so you had no business chasing this. Interesting. What are we getting? Some W's actually coming in on these indicators? That's interesting. Actually, you know, I don't mind this. So what I think this is saying here, and of course, we always want to keep this in context. Where is the 50 line? So the 50 line was that test right there of that recent bottom. If we ever get market structures through the 50 line, then that's a really, either in this particular case, that's a very, very bullish sign. We never got an M through the 50 line. So any signals that you see, M's, you know, coming down here, these were weak signals. If the M comes through the 50 line, oh, that's a big, ugly, nasty signal. But, and really, this is a great analogy. You know, first M up top here. You might argue that that was an M within an M, but this first M didn't really fire till over here. You know, suppose that is interpretation. Keep in mind, there is no real rule book with regard to trading these indicators. I don't know whether, I mean, just for the purposes of this conversation, we'll just try and keep this relatively easy. Nice. Oops, isn't that weird? Let's try that again. All right. So that M right there, that's definitely bulls. You better cool your jets. Whether you had said, well, bulls cool your jets through here, and then this, and we always color the cool your jets teal. At least I do. I'm the only person who teaches this. So it's not really like anybody else does this. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. What am I doing here? Actually, yeah, I think it is. Yeah, okay. So this little teal right here, this would definitely be your cool your jets signal. So if we go like right there, because that's where it fired, didn't fire, fired. So I don't know whether you can see that or not. We'll make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. So definitely a cool your jets message. Then the second M, not through the 50 line, just coming out of the overbought zone. This is actually a trade. So I wouldn't have a problem, right? Where did that come in? That came in like literally the next day. So this is your trade, baboosh. And this was your bulls. You better cool your jets. And you can see, I mean, they were pretty damn close. So the problem here, of course, is that when we get a third M in RSI, this is almost always, okay, we're going to go now and trap the noobs, the late people that really don't know what they're doing in the market, but they'll just FOMO, either buy or sell, and it's great to take their money. That's what that third M usually is. And again, all of this is being done above the 50 line. So this was to cool your jets. This was the actual trade. And then this third one is the, all right, now we're going to go and try and steal the noob's money here. And notice, look how this M came in. That day, there is no M. This day, way over here, that's where that third M fired. That's where you can pretty much bet your dollars to donuts. That's where the noobs are coming in. So the problem here, though, is, as you can see, and it's not a problem, it makes perfect sense. Boom! Like literally, as soon as the noobs go short, then all of a sudden, oh boy, here comes one of those teals, the first W. And this is telling the professional traders, just like this up here, if you're bearish, you better cool your jets. And how ironic, the public being bearish, they're like, well, what the fuck? I just sold. I just shorted. You said this thing was going down. Now you're telling me if I'm a bear, I got to cool my jets? And then I can't tell you how often this happens. I mean, it happens a lot. Now, interesting, this study here, and really what I wanted to get rid of was this moving average. There. All right. Now, and let's just see if anybody on YouTube's listening to me. And I hope you guys are learning from this, because I tell you, it actually works pretty damn good. And it's free for you. Nobody's charging you $5 to learn this. It's totally free. God, can you please help Lily and I get a house? I'm giving all of these people this information for free, and I'm not asking for anything in return. All I want is God for you to treat Lily and I correctly. Please and thank you. And God says, you're making demands of me? All right, I'm going to shit on you a little bit more. All right. All right, moving on with our study. And keep in mind, I mean, maybe hit the upvote. I don't know. Somebody, I'm teaching you this for free here. Is that at least worth an upvote? All right, so this is our second W. So who can tell me the second W that's colored yellow? What does that mean? I'll go over on YouTube. Let's see. 5 question mark. 5 questions. Oh boy, it's building, eh? Oh, thank Thank you, Crypto History Channel. I appreciate that. What a beautiful thing you just said there. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Way to go. Ravaggio. That's a trade signal. Now, is this a strong signal or is this a weak signal? That's what you really have to take from this. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring cleans bell. I wonder if Jim and Lizzie have given up on me. God, this guy's such a nut job. Mind you, if they give up on me, then they don't get their free steak. So that'll be a good way to see whether they're actually paying attention. I'm getting my free steak, damn it. Anyway, so that's a buy signal. Over the 50 RSI, second W equals good signal. All right, well, that's good. Write that shit down. So it's a buy signal, but because it's not coming in through the 50 line, it's sort of weak. So, I mean, I'd just be curious. And then, of course, what we have to be cognizant of is if another W comes in, that's going to be our third one. And the third one is the noob trap, right? So you got to be careful here. You know, if anything, what you want is you want this thing to run as hard as it possibly can in here. Run, Forrest, run, right? But the next W that comes in, it's just like this. And you can see when this second signal came in, this was the run. But as soon as this happened here, well, you got to know that this is the trap that's going to suck the noobs in. So let's go and just look at price. Let's just see what the hell happened. Does any of this make any sense given what the hell Beamish just said there? All right, so we had our sell signal, this candle right here. Who can tell me what's this 3-bar pattern called in candlestick land? Anyway, it's called a fractal. Down a fractal top. Not a bad sell signal. Did that work? Market dumped, rallied back, failed right at where you sold. Came back in, and then notice on this dump, that's where the noobs came in. Can you see how this is working? E-Target says, thank you, BB. You are changing my life. Fucking A. Good to hear, Mr. E-Target. And more importantly, Spirit, are you paying attention? Damn it. Don't curse in the Lord's name. But what, isn't that beautiful? So on this dump, this is where the third M came in. This is the noobs getting all trapped in here. They go short here. So what does the market do? Huge rally right in their faces. Isn't that incredible? Is this worth a like? Is this worth a, hey, maybe tell your friends, you know, this weird guy, this Canadian guy who absolutely hates his fucking political leadership in his country and just constantly goes on and on about China and various different other rants. But fuck, man, actually, this shit works. Anyway, so the noobs got trapped. Then a W comes in, and that W fires where? Right here. Right on this doji candle and this reversal candle here, the signal comes in that bears, you better cool your jets. Now remember, the public shorted down here. And now up here, they're getting told, you better cool your jets if you're a bear. Then we sort of work our way up a bit, and then we just sit in a trading range. And now all of a sudden, coming out of the trading range, and who knows, this is where it's super important because this is a daily chart. You have to wait until the end of this day. Because keep in mind, we might, I might leave for Liam and then all of a sudden somebody shits on this market, like maybe Fink or somebody like that. And then this thing just gets driven right back down and the daily buy signal disappears. So be cognizant of that. This is only a buy signal if this candle actually closes with this W confirming here. right? You can see it right there. And all of you can draw this yourself. Now, this is not rocket science. There it is. So, oh, what a surprise. We got some nice upside action here. So now the question ultimately here for a guy like me is, can this run? And remember, this is not a strong signal. And we've got a few resistance points here to deal with. So we're getting our signal coming in here. We have these highs. And keep in mind, look at where the old high is. It's way up there. So could we have, could we have this market rally up here on that weak signal? Absolutely. No reason why I couldn't do that whatsoever. And frankly speaking, I think that's what's going to happen. Because keep in mind, this crazy ass fucking eclipse thing, it doesn't happen until, where's that chart? Over here. And I would not be surprised if they go and wash this high out before this eclipse event. It would not surprise me one bit. I don't actually even really have any sell signals here on Bitcoin. Like, ironically enough, I think I was showing you earlier. Mind you, this is our funny little crazy chart. We can get rid of that. Yeah, here. Almost got a sell signal. Came pretty damn close, but no sell signal materialized. You can see we were in the reload zone. Of course, we have trade location 127s to 1.618s. This is that action from that previous cycle. Remember, history never repeats itself exactly, but history does often rhyme. But you can see, boom, 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 3-bar fractal. If we went through this low, that would be a sell signal. But notice, inside bar, nobody's stepping up. Where are the sellers? If this is really a top and this is a sell, where are the sellers, right? And if we actually look at the actual volume and momentum and all that kind of stuff off of these daily charts, the sellers just never showed up. Look at them. These past 2 days, if any sellers had come out and said, all right, there's the fractal top, it's in the reload zone, we're at A, B, C, D objectives, it's time to dump this thing, the sellers would have shown up, and they just didn't bother showing up. And then, we can, now that you guys have done this, in fact, maybe a fun assignment, let's maybe build some traction off of this video. Go and do the RSI study. This is now off of Bitcoin. And you can see one top, another top, yellow, purple, bears got short, bears got trapped, bears were actually told, you better cool your jets. Oh, hello. This could have very easily M'd out and we got to start heading down lower again. Now, the question I would have for you here, though, is have we actually got that second W to come in here yet? And I don't think so. I mean, you look at that price action, that doesn't look like a W. So what this actually tells me is I don't think Bitcoin is actually spitting out this weak buy signal. But I think the altcoins are trying to. And actually that makes a lot of sense to me. Because frankly speaking, I think Bitcoin's parked. Mr. Fink's got exactly what he wanted here. And we have a big fundamental event coming up in Bitcoin. So not really a big surprise that the Bitcoin story, I think, like if you were using a cooking analogy, I'd say the Bitcoin story is fully baked. Now, could there be a little bit more fuckery all up in here? Sure. The irony of it all is when the sell signal actually does come in, we'll all look at it and go, yeah, that looks pretty damn cliche. That's exactly what sell signals usually look like. So just be patient. If you're waiting for some sort of sell signal out of Bitcoin, it doesn't look like it's here right now. But at the same time, too, I don't have any reason to be bullish here whatsoever. Interestingly enough, I don't really like the trade location. And if I was going to trade it, it would be very, very tepid, tight stops, tight risk. Don't take a lot of chance. But I could understand. I mean, just from a simple M's and W's perspective, you can see this thing sort of went down, up, down, and it's trying to break out here. And like I said, it has to actually confirm and actually close here to confirm this signal. And you might find that when I'm gone with Liam, all of a sudden this thing backs off and the W disappears. So just be aware of that. All right. Got about 25 minutes left here. Let's see what these questions are from students. And if I don't answer them, then by all means, we can circle back around tomorrow and try and answer them. Unfortunately, my show producer director is MIA today, so there won't be any newsletter. But hopefully I can answer these questions and you still feel like there was some value in this episode. Maybe Chris, if you can, I don't even know whether we'll do a description write-up of the video here today, but maybe you can just timestamp when Brian actually got to answering questions, and then that way people can just fast forward to that point. Okay, so 31st of March here. Keep in mind the eclipse is on the 8th, so we still have another week to go. This is going to take a long time to play through this damn eclipse cycle, people. We're not through this by a long shot. And for whatever it's worth, I think I showed you earlier, the humans are starting to act really, really stupid, declaring states of emergency over a fucking eclipse. You got to be kidding me. So we got another week or two to go. Whoops, oh, what's going on here? All right, so how are you handling your LOL? I tell you, this whole weekend I spent fucking bent over moaning and complaining about some fucker stealing money from me off of that goddamn ledger. That's something that an LOL would not even want to even think about, right? She's busy playing canasta. She's busy out in the garden planting the rose bushes for this coming summer. Last thing in the world she wants to hear about is some little greasy fucking foreigner from some third world nation is fucking dipping their mitts into your fucking portfolio and stealing your money. And you wonder why people are asking for this space to be regulated. Ugh. Anyway. How am I handling my LOL Solana portfolio? I'll tell you, this is a lot of fun. And really, again, I think I've told you before, like, I do this for the sport of it. I mean, I've got enough money that literally I could just turn this off and just, rent some shitty apartment and just live off of the money that I have in the bank for the rest of my life. I don't need to live an extravagant lifestyle. I do this stuff and, free broadcast for hours on end at YouTube. Julian can't figure out why I do this for 10 years straight with like no views. I don't know. I have some weird fucking bent here. But anyway, the community at TRI said, hey, Brian, we want you to get involved in the Solana space. We think there's lots of money to be made in there. So we're going to gift you. And I think they did it back in like January or December or something. $500 worth of this Solana. And then somebody actually went and threw me an NFT that they built on the Solana network, so its value is based off of Solana's price. So keep in mind that this thing's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. But I consider break even here $500. So at $1,400, well, I'm just having fun. I've got nothing to lose. I could take the $500 out, give it back to the people that funded me, and we'll call it a day. That's that. And what I do like about this is I'm doing everything off of these, the Jupiter. I love this place. It's just so much fun. It's so easy. And I don't have to worry about getting hacked. I haven't been hacked yet, knock on wood. But everybody do a double knock there. And I'm just slowly accumulating names. And I literally, by the end of this exercise, by like say the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, I want to have like 5,000 names. I mean, that's maybe a little unrealistic, but I want to own everything. And this is exactly what I did on the Trex account. I want to own everything. And all I do is I just buy. And then, and actually, I don't know whether actually this was the first purchase on this one. Hopefully, you can see the logic of it. It had a big jump up, pulled back, it tested the original bottom, 78.6, Brian's favorite fib. So I went in and I bought some. What a shock. And you can see I have my sell half on a double order working. This just happens to be one particular name. But, there's fun ones like this Bros. I'm actually trying to do I think this will be my third or fourth car on this one. So here's one where I came in and bought, sold half on a double. Bought, sold half on a double. Then, this is a great one, sold, these coins that I bought down here, right? Bought, sold half on a double, rebought, sold half on a double. Then the price goes crazy. Hey, sell the whole damn, the rest of it on another double. And what a surprise. Price comes all the way right back down to the bottom. And you can see I'm trying to buy the whole fucking thing back. And this is just what I do. It's not really rocket science. So, that in a nutshell is what I'm doing on Solana. Now let's actually get to the question. Are you consistently investing the money you get from the doubles? Yeah, pretty much. I wanted to build a bit of a cash position because I always like to have a bit of a cash hoard on the sidelines in case I do want to buy something. So right now I think I have maybe about 70 or 80 bucks. It's not much money. But just sitting in the, you see the size of the account. I won't use the NFT and the valuation of that because obviously I can't touch that capital. But I think roughly, let's call it $1,000. So 5% of that means that I can throw 50 bucks into any name. So if that's the case, then, you see most of my orders. You can see, 25 bucks, 25 bucks, 19 bucks, 19 bucks, 17 bucks, 16 bucks. So they're not big bets. And that's the most important thing here is risk management. Always placing small bets, small bets. I do have a fair chunk in this, but it was airdropped and I'm not going to ever touch that. I was just given, great. I've got a little bit of Solana still on the books. Not going to touch that. Unfortunately, though, what I have noticed is that I use Solana to fund a lot of these trades, and I am gobbling through Solana, so I might actually go and buy a bit of this back. There you can see I've got $71. If the average trade on my account's like maybe 25 bucks a go, then that gives me the better part of 3 trades. I can pull the trigger anytime I want and go and pick up new positions. And interestingly enough, the cash, quote unquote, gets segregated if I actually place buy orders. So I actually do have quite a bit more cash in the account. But if I have any buy orders working, then obviously that capital gets segregated. So I don't know whether that answers your question. Do you limit the number of coins to invest in? No, I'm just having fun. If I see something that I like, I'll buy it. If I don't, no big deal. I've been reinvesting everything I get from the doubles, mostly into new ideas, sometimes getting better average prices. Okay. And I have by now over 100 different names. Fucking A. Is that expected? Well, considering we're a full year into this, no, that's not unexpected. I would suggest, though, like you saw, not a bad idea to have a bit of a cash position, just so you have some, they call it dry powder. I don't mean to be rude, but, actually, this would be a good quiz question. If I was going to draw a fib, what would be the absolute knee-jerk I should expect the market to correct back to this level at any given point in time, at any time? You should expect this to happen. So let's see. YouTube, how many people can answer this question? Nice. There's a correct answer right off the bat. Old man Brian, if you go with that, that's fine. That's good policy. That's WD GAN. But a lot of times the market corrects back to 38.2, and then that's it for the correction. So, old man Brian, I don't know whether you've taken the education program, but you can see most of these people obviously are students of mine, and they know the correct answer. So that means, and of course all you Solana people, you're not going to like when I say this, but this is brutal reality of trading. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm not trying to sell you some fucking $5,000 course where I stand up and I just put Bitcoin on the whiteboard and circle it and say, there's your master class, Merry Christmas. I'm going to give you the fucking straight goods. And this is to help you. It's not to hurt you. It's to help you, right? But there's the Solana chart. There is 38.2 as we speak. There, my friends, is a huge... Wow, there's a whole bunch of trap bears stuck in the market, and they would love to get the fuck out of those bad shorts. There is the Wyckoff check level. So can you see the number of reasons that are building up to justify the market doing nothing more than just coming back to 38.2s to clean itself up and then head back up? So anyway, this is why I think it's a good idea to have some dry powder, just because it can get a little dangerous out there, and everybody and their brother is thinking up. Now, when everybody in the market is thinking one direction, in fact, one of my old bosses at Top Step, and he actually even publicly acknowledged it recently with one of our funded traders over there at Top Step. He's sort of on the inner circle, and he even heard Nebraska saying this. But he actually bases most of his trading just purely on what the average person in the marketplace is doing. And if he sees that everybody is long, he just takes a short position. And then if he sees everybody's short, he just takes a long position, and he's made a fortune off of just doing that. So if everybody and their brother is long crypto, then of course you got the guys in Gucci sweaters selling courses. Yeah, just buy Bitcoin, you'll get rich. Drive you crazy. But if anything, that tells me you better be damn careful. Old man Brian says, don't mind me. I'm just an old guy that was around when the course was $300, but didn't take it because I was just focused in real life stuff at the time. Now it's too expensive, so I just follow the video. Yeah, cheap ass. Why no one smashed the like button? Yeah, I mean, DMAC, isn't that kind of odd? I mean, I don't understand. I basically, that RSI study, that's probably worth fucking 10 G's right there. If that idiot is selling a $5,000 course on how to buy Bitcoin, and he just stands up there and says, look at my fancy shirt, buy Bitcoin, you'll get rich, then me actually teaching you how to use RSI to actually trade for a profit and understanding the various different stages, you think that would be worth a fucking fortune. It is, but you don't have Versace jacket. Yeah. Oh, goodness. So anyway, point of the matter here is, when I look at an asset like this, I mean, what do you think, all you people out on YouTube? And this should be an easy answer. Is Brian going to tell you to go and invest your hard-earned money, your last dollars, in buying Solana here? Yeah, that's a good point. And Chris, do you see that? Remember I was making reference the other day? We got to somehow, even if it's just taking like a screenshot of my mug there from the videos and just put it on the thumbnails. But I think we gotta do that somehow. I know. Yeah, you're right, DMAC. And the irony of it all is that you people who have actually found me and you actually know how all this shit works based on the fact that I've taught you this. If anything, you don't want me to go mainstream, because then I'm gonna fucking be gold chains and blinging it and big boobs right on one side and on the other, right? And then maybe a guy, because of course this is a woke world, so big guy with a big fat dick sticking out, right? But of course it'll be behind a bathing suit, so all that kind of crap. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so getting back to our AMA here. I gotta get moving here. What do I got? I got about 10-15 minutes left here. Hey, you're up to 100 positions. I mean, fucking hey, you want to corner the market? Nothing wrong with that. I love this. Dude, just think about how fucking insanely big your portfolio is going to be when we head into 25, 26. I mean, really, you're doing everything that I would suggest that you do. Just make sure to don't take too much risk, right? You've got this money segregated now. I mean, you want to add capital to it, fine, but I say that you're just kicking it, and try not to be too obsessed. Like if anything, maybe even write like above your computer screen or by your bed or something. Write in big letters. I'm doing all of this for November 2025. That's when I'm going to get paid for all of my hard-earned effort. And then when 2025 comes, you have to then stop buying and you have to start liquidating and basically getting out of the market as people are going absolutely crazy. So can you do that, Igor? That's the question. All right. Next question. Brian, if you only had 5,000 USD and you would be coming into crypto market today, knowing what you know, what would you do in order to take the most advantage of the upcoming crypto bull cycle? What would your target in terms of percentage growth of your portfolio? Ugh. I never put these kind of targets and expectations. And I'll tell you, had I put, because like this is a really good example. When I started this silly adventure way back when with the Coinigy guys, I just simply said, look, I'm going to take $500 and I'm going to turn it into 100 G's. And I just sort of grabbed the number out of thin air. And as soon as I hit that, I figured I was done. And the irony of it all is that the portfolio actually went to close to $1 million US. I think it topped out at like 800, 900,000. I mean, just some insane number. So I don't think it's a good idea to actually put expectations of performance. What I would say, and this sounds awfully cliche and it's very typical. I guess I was doing this on another screen as well. I would say that what's more important here is process goals. If you're gonna, and really it's a function of what type of risk taker you are, and I can't answer that. Obviously there's the LOL. That's one type of risk taker, and she's going to be conservative. $5,000 portfolio, that means, according to your numbers, $250 risk per bet. And ironically enough, that's actually fairly in line with the bet numbers that I took on this little account that I've been running here. You can see a lot of them. I don't really have the best reporting here. I'm still fucking working away trying to get this cleaned up. I have to figure out exactly the number of coins that I bought, especially with all these shods and stuff, to actually get the real original invested dollars. You can see, but a lot of them are like 200, look at this, $82, 111, 235, 119, 175, 300, 176, 161, 126, so 241. You can see, I mean, there were a few, like Matic, we had a fairly large position, but the irony of it all is that the Matic actually hasn't done a hell of a lot. I mean, it's right now sitting 2,200, and I even culled the position down. I sold a bunch of it at $1.20 because it was just way out of whack with all of the rest of the risk. If anything, this Frax here probably put a little too much into that guy. And then, of course, and those worked. Here's an example of one where I put a whole bunch of money into one, and this thing has just landed flat on its face. I mean, it's an embarrassment how bad this thing has gone. And I wouldn't even give this a value of 1,900. That's probably even a, you know what? Let's give that a value of 0. That's how bad that Ubix story has gone. So, but if anything, this is almost like along your lines. Just shoot for that like 250 number. And as I said, some of these numbers are not accurate. Like I know I didn't put $800 into that thing. So I'm still working on this part of the spreadsheet. Once this part of the spreadsheet is actually cleaned up and good to go, then I think we can update the website and give you a much, much better read. of the portfolio, and this is including the fact that I just had $3,000 in stablecoin stolen from me. And I've lost this Rune, lost 250 bucks on that buy. Digibyte lost 182 on that buy. Dago lost 178 on that buy. This WAN I actually do own, but I can't figure out how the fuck to get to it because we can't get on KuCoin, where I think is where we bought it. So anyway, I'm just chalking all these up to losses. So even with all these losses, and if anything, this is much better. Sitting right now 30, and I'm assuming 100% loss on this Ubic. The good part about Ubic is I went on their Discord and they're thinking about changing to a POS coin, which should mean that there's some value to this damn thing. I think what I'll probably do is just go stake the coins, and then we'll just see what the hell happens down the road with these guys. But I'm giving this a value of 0 now. I think that's probably the smart thing to do. So even with that, I'm still up 200% on the portfolio. And you can see that these are all right around $250 a bet. So, that's 100, 200% kind of idea right now. And ports, we'll just say, and this is with really, really bad execution. Doing this, trying to do it on DeFi, which is terrible. But basically the portfolio is doubled with lots of mistakes. So, and that's just in 1 year. I suppose if you wanted to compound this, because I think we're near the end of a cycle, and then we'll start again, do it over. This is just with doubles and triples and stuff, and I've got cash, so I will reload and do the whole damn thing all over again. And what is it? It's 2024, so we probably have another 2 years of this, maybe 2 more of these, just totally, totally conservative. So then that will put this account, if we do 2 more of these sort of 200% kind of ideas, taking 20 G's from 10,000 invested. Now it's 30, so that will go to what, 60, somewhere in that neighborhood, 80. Actually, I guess no, it'd be more. It'd be if we go 10 to 30 now, then that would be like triple. It should be a little bit lower than that. Not quite sure what I've done with the numbers here, but anyway, next one, it would be 30 to 90 after a sizable pullback. I wouldn't be surprised if this account goes back down to 20 G's or so. Because keep in mind, we're still invested in a lot of these names. And then the next cycle with that, after that, would be 90 times 3 would be, what's that? 270, maybe 300. I would say that's probably realistic. Say 300,000 into this coming cycle peak. And then, of course, if Bitcoin and all that do absolutely go insane. And then also, too, interesting how this is 10 to 3. And I might argue that really this orgy started basically last October. Prior to that, most of this stuff was basically sitting right around where we bought it. So with that said, I think, because these guys funded me with this account in like November, December, somewhere in there. Can't remember when did Steven come in and do that big shill to me and go, fuck it, Brian, we're going to get you on Solana. I think it was December. I'm not sure. Anyway, same sort of thing, better part of a triple kind of idea. That wouldn't surprise me if we see something along those lines. So that means this little Solana account would go, triple this would be to what? 4,500, and then triple that would be to, I don't know, 15,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. I could see that. It wouldn't surprise me. So I don't think that this is going to be absolutely as insane as that 14-16 cycle, because that was the end of the commodity bull cycle. We're kind of in an aftermath cycle here now, right? And think about it in logical terms. If you ever listen to any of these people on public, I don't think we're going to have a situation, where's Bitcoin here, right? I don't think we're going to have a situation like in this case where I came in at like, $400 or $500 and the cycle topped out at, where are we here? Yeah, I guess that was it. So the cycle topped out at like 17,000 bucks. I don't think we're going to have that kind of percentage move. This next cycle, this bottomed here at like 5,000. That's, like 10x, right? Keep in mind that this is, geez, I don't even know what this number is. There's 10x there. So that's 20x, 30x, 40x, so like 40, 50x. This was 10x, 20x. So 40, 20 sounds to me like maybe this next in is 10x. So that would be, 15, 20,000, 10x, 150 to 200,000. And I'm hearing a lot of people sort of talking along those lines. Interesting 2.618 off of this. And there is our 1.3 or 1.382. Yeah, it doesn't sound right, 1.382. Anyway, you can see that's coming in somewhere around 130 or so. Could we have some sort of, kind of like what I showed here? Could you have some sort of blow off top peak through this where it goes like that? I don't know. Could be. Maybe hit this 2.618, and that would be 160,000. So anywhere in this window for this coming cycle would actually be 10x off of those, and that kind of makes sense. 10x, 20x, 40x. I bet you that this was 80x if we actually drilled in and looked at these numbers. I bet it was. So, okay, so I don't know whether that answers your question, but I am looking for upside, but not nearly as crazy as that first cycle. What I would say is here, I would say looking for two more of the same that we just did, or what did we say? 10K turns into, we went 10 to 30 to 90 to, what would you say? 200 to 270, I guess? 270K, somewhere in there. That wouldn't surprise me. But this is pretty aggressive. And let's say 10K. Oh, and this is the 10K, what I did. And really what was supposed to happen, believe it or not, what was supposed to happen was I was supposed to be putting $500 into each of these trades. So, and it's not doubled, it tripled. So I'm not quite sure why that percentage return is the way that it is. I think I would look for two more of these moves. So I think that this portfolio, if I can get my act together and do this correctly, should actually turn into $250,000. So yeah, we'll see what happens. If you're, and so that's, we'll say one. If you are talking about replicating LOL, then dash. I'm going to say I will look for two more of the same that we just did, or 10K original investment turns into 270K. So my next objective on this next run will be to turn this little portfolio now that's sitting around 30K. The next objective will be 90K. And then the next objective after that will be that 270. And then I think I'll call this. Anything above that, and it's just gravy. I wouldn't be surprised if this runs up to $500,000. The only question here is, can I continue on this path doing the whole DeFi thing? Which, frankly speaking, I'm not enjoying whatsoever. And if anything, I think that's cutting into performance. So, and then I'm going to say, if you are talking about margin, leverage, then really, then the sky is the limit. Just be damn sure to follow your plan and only trade valid setups that you know are at least 60% accurate. Of course, ideally we want 66. And you never risk more than 5% of your stake on any one trade idea. So this is, ironically enough, this is the conservative route. If you want to go leverage margin trading, sky's the limit. You can make all the money you've ever dreamed of. But I'll tell you, not a lot of people can do this. In fact, I would say 99% of the public cannot leverage margin trade. I mean, it's almost tragic seeing the way that Julian, bless his heart, he's tried like Dickens, but a few years ago he just got to the point where he just simply says, look, don't trade on margin. You're just asking for trouble. It's very, very difficult. Right, so Chris is correcting me here. It's not specifically DeFi. It is more cold wallet versus hot wallet and MetaMask, Phantom, etc. So ironically enough, on the Solana, anytime I ever want to do anything, and I have a lot of fun, anytime I ever want to do anything, it pops up here, and it like I'd work it off of the Phantom wallet. And it pops up and it says, enter your password, confirm that you want to do this, blah, blah, blah. So thank you, Chris, for that clarification. Probably a good idea. I don't completely shit on DeFi. It's really more about the cold storage wallets and moving money through them that I have such difficulty with. And, this is probably also a commentation, like a commentary on teaching old dogs new tricks. Okay, so let's keep moving forward here. What time is it? Oh, shit, it's already after. Damn it. All right, we'll do this one, and then I got to go. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave these two questions for tomorrow. Interesting that you're talking about cycles. I'd actually say we're over here now, folks. So, actually, this is a pretty easy one, Preston. I would say you are here now. The irony of it all is that Bitcoin price is all the way up top here. But if you look at a lot of the shit coins and stuff, they're still down at the bottom end of their ranges. Should be interesting. Is total market cap at new highs? I don't even know. Maybe it is. I suppose with Bitcoin as high as it is. Oh, interesting. So, probably a better proxy on this space. Mind you, it's the same thing as Bitcoin. Where are we here? I get the impression, like, from that cycle perspective, worrying about this. Believe it or not, I don't think we're anywhere near here. I think we're still sort of down here. The issue here, of course, is that they're printing money like a fucking drunken whore. So as a result, the actual value, and that actually might be a good study for us to do, just so you can see the relative valuations of this. Like if I go... where's the best place to do this? Maybe I'll do it over here. BTC USD divided by M2. This would probably look more like that chart. Oh, no, interesting. Not even. So I'll tell you. I mean, the interesting thing about this is that usually when we see the chart look like this, we're like, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I mean, Jesus, have they built the whole fucking bull market into here? I don't know. I really don't think that we're at the point of this year. I don't think we're anywhere. Well, no, we are here. I don't think we're here. So, having said that, the fact that Fink is in this space and he's manipulating the price like a drunken whore, just like the feds are printing money like drunken whores. I think everybody's a drunken whore. The bubble of everything, all that kind of talk. That's one worry that I do have, folks. I will be completely blunt with you. You know, especially if this thing needs to top out at 150 or so, then does that technically mean that half of the bull market is already priced in? You know, I mean, keep in mind, you know, we were supposed to buy in the 1.618 to 176. Have they already, keep in mind that we're going to top at this 138, have they already built in half of the bull market here already? I hope not. If anything, what I want to see, mind you, we could maybe go all the way up here. So, but still, that means, you know, quite literally, especially on a percentage basis, this would be actually interesting to see. So from the bottom to where we are now, that was 370%, and then replicate that. You know, at best, we head up into things like 2.618s up here. That's only another 140% higher. So I don't know where the top is specifically on this. I do like the idea of us just playing with these trend lines. And I definitely like the idea of that 1.382 as a cycle peak. What I'm worried about here, kind of your comment, well, I mean, a lot of people's comments, that, well, if we're still in sort of this basing part of this, maybe what we have to do is maybe do like a little bit of just calming down here for the next little while and get rid of this speculative excess. It's a very good point that you make, is like, geez, it sure looks like we're like this. I would say cycle wise, we should look for that peak into 25, 26, the end of 25, beginning of 26. But because they've run price up here so much, maybe this cycle we pull back and do natural 50% retracements, and we have to actually clean this space up for the next 6, 12 months. That wouldn't surprise me at all. You know, I'm worried that, you know, this has gone too far, too fast. It's an excellent question. I kind of skipped over the next one because I thought this would be a relatively easy question to answer. But it's, you know, that's a very good question. Okay, number 3, Coinbase to add LTC.BCH and Dogecoin to their derivatives products. Uh-oh. What implications or impacts do you see it affecting spot price in your opinion? Should it take the volatility out of these things? Maybe. If I'm not mistaken, I think Julian was saying that BCH is running up because, and maybe, you know, that's half the reason why LTC is running up too. Maybe it has, and also Doge. I mean, maybe what's happening here is they're going to try and build in as much of the bull into the market before the actual derivatives get launched, so that the day that they do launch the derivatives, they can go and short the market. And have we ever seen that happen before? And of course, if I ever ask you that question, then obviously the answer is an unequivocal yes. That is exactly what happened here. So you could make the argument, that's an interesting point that you make, because we're like, well, it looks like total's pointing up and it actually is trying to spit out some sort of buy signal or something. And if that's the case, that they're bidding this shit up, the BCHs, the LTCs, and I noticed that when I was studying my matrix the other day, this chart, that Litecoin just took off like a rocket when Bitcoin and ETH were sort of floundering there. Yeah, look at Litecoin go here, just even relatively speaking. So I think you're onto something there. I'd actually say that I think what's happening here is they're going to bid these things up as much and as hard as they can. But the day that the derivatives products are launched, well, that's probably the top of your market. So that's my opinion. So hope you enjoyed that. So we only missed one question. It's already quarter past the hour, so I got to get the hell out of here. So why don't we leave it at that, and I will. Yes, I absolutely think this is all retail buying. Absolutely, 100%. I'll circle around and we'll review these questions again tomorrow, but that's actually a really interesting question here. And yes, unequivocally, I can answer that very easily. This is all the retail coming in. You know who's buying this market up and bidding it up? You know who it is. It's this guy. And what kills you is it's that Da Vinci guy who's getting all of his newsletter subscribers to come in and buy Bitcoin so that they can be rich just like him. You know it is. I mean, it's so bloody obvious, but it's this guy. I mean, no offense, I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall, but there's no fucking way he would ever get a job at an institutional trading desk acting like this. They would laugh him out of there and they just say, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Having said that, look at the headline. Bitcoin is about to skyrocket. You never talk like that when you're an institutional player. You never, ever talk like that. You know what an institutional player says? Institutional player, Johnny Hoagland, is if I was going to have a mentor in the professional trading space, it would be a guy like him. And he says professional traders are paid to worry. What does that mean? That means that a professional trader, an institutional player, they come in and they buy green boxes when everybody and their brother, everybody in the public is saying this thing's going down. They're paid to worry. They're stressed out. I mean, look how much hair John has, poor guy. But he buys down markets. And then when the people are all stupid, and I even remember when this happened, we had one site member, man, he went absolutely fucking insane. And he was like, absolutely, Bitcoin's going to the moon. And how did that work out? And I hate to say it, but I'm seeing the exact same thing this cycle. No difference. Nothing's changed. This is when SBF was being like fucking railroaded and, arrested, and Do Kwon was being arrested, and they were just giving this shit away, and you couldn't even give this to people. Thanksgiving dinner, right? And of course, hey Johnny, how's that Bitcoin doing? What a stupid fool. But if you had the balls to step in and buy at that Thanksgiving dinner, right, that was right in here, you would have looked like a fucking genius right now. So red boxes, green boxes, that's actually a pretty easy question to answer. Yes, I think this is 100% retail, and it's your Mr. Gucci sweater guy. Okay, let's leave it at that. Have yourselves a great day. If you could all collectively say a prayer for Lily and I on the roads, and for Dad to be the best dad he possibly could be, I would appreciate it. Your karmic wishes get me through this adventure that I call my fucked up life. I'm not quite sure why I'm here, what it is I'm supposed to be doing, but the number one priority, I have to go and do my real job now, is I have to give this beautiful little boy who was brought into this life and given just an absolute fucking nightmare life sentence, I have to try and make his life a little bit better. That's my number one job in this fucking world. So I hope that I've helped you all a little bit. Please say just a karmic wish for Lily and for us. And, we can drive safely. It looks like the weather's relatively good outside. And, nice to see you again, Cheryl, as always. PMA for the win. Try and stay positive through all this. But don't get sucked into the retail circle jerk. You're just asking for trouble. The easy way to make money at this game is force yourself to buy in green boxes. That's why I can show you that my portfolio is up the way that it is because I forced myself, and I didn't do as much as I wanted to. And this is including some absolute disasters, $300 stolen from me. Investing in a name, and I put way too much faith into this guy that I believed in, and I'm going to take basically an entire write-off on this guy. That's just an outright mistake on Brian's part. But even with the shitty trading, I'm still able to actually tell you that I'm doing fairly well managing my money and not losing money, even though I've taken some fucking punts in the nose here this week. So, don't chase. You know how it goes. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. Have the professionalism to wait for green boxes. You can see where the green boxes are. At the very least, just wait for green boxes. Maybe, like Colin, you can start thinking about buying in teal boxes, but this better look pretty damn good to step in here. And ironically enough, this is exactly where I think we are in this cycle, that we will get pullbacks down to 50% levels. It will wash out the excesses. And then, interestingly enough, a lot of the altcoins and stuff, they will do even bigger corrections. And those are the ones, of course, that I'm going to be reloading on, in the little old lady portfolios and stuff. Okay, everybody, have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Thank you so much for your participation. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave me a comment. I gave everybody an assignment. Show me exactly what the 38.2 level is on Bitcoin right now. Show me the 38.2 level on Solana. Pick your favorite name. Show me where the 38.2 is. That's where you should expect at any given point in time markets can correct back to, just like that. So there's a fun assignment for everybody. Post them in the lounge. Pop on over, of course, on Tuesdays. We'll check in with our crypto expert, Sjord, and we'll check out how he's doing, and he's just absolutely killing this market. If you want to get rich in crypto, TRI is the place to be, man. We'll teach you how to behave as a professional in the market, and we've got the fundamental analysis. If you just want to invest Joe's six-pack, or even, not do little old ladies. If you want to do little old ladies, great. You can follow in Brian's footsteps. If you want to do Joe's six-pack and put some serious money to work and be a serious investor, then you can follow Sjord's lead. I think we have the crypto market tapped perfectly. The only problem here is I'm not going to feed into the public, oh, you're all just going to get rich, just go and blindly buy. You have to act like a professional in this space. No ifs, ands, or buts. Except maybe Brian's big butt. That's pretty damn big. And we'll just leave it at that. All right. Have a great day. All the best. And bye for now.